The 2016 American elections brought into question the media and its potential bias in a way that has never been seen before. The potential impact of the allegations tossed around by the candidate Donald Trump are still reverberating to this day. To what extent is media biased? The right talks about liberal media, but what about the right-wing media and the new sensation of the alt-right? Are the claims made by the right on liberal media valid? And what media sources are tainted by government, corporate or ideological influence? There is a long history of biased media, starting from the early days of print newspapers and magazines and carrying into the early 1900s with the invention of the radio in the late 1890s and the first radio programming. From the beginning, organizations, political groups, governments and social movements have sought to use the media to disseminate a version of the news and events slanted in such a way as to further their own messages and ideas. Years later, the invention of the television and its proliferation around the world has provided an additional platform for media sources to push their wares. The constant fact in all of these is the almost monopoly on what is called the mainstream media, controlled by largely 6 corporations, government entities and individuals, all with their own personal agendas. It is only with the advent of the internet that the average person can literally have the means to connect with the entire world to spread a wider array of divergent views than those pushed by establishment media. This explosion of access has had profound consequences for the media world, the way news is looked at and how most people approach the media and get their news. The proliferation of fake news sites and the new tactic seen in the last US presidential election of dismissing all news, legitimate or not, as fake news is having a dramatic impact, with even the concept of truth as being a relative term. 6 out of 10 Americans in a recent poll feel like the media is biased towards one political party over the other, with a clear majority often saying that the media is inaccurate. There is a yawning chasm of trust in the media that has developed a breakneck speed in the last 20 years. Just 2 in 10 Americans get their news from print media. This is down from 27% in 2013. Some 50% of people under 50 get their news from online, with the vast majority of those over 50 get their news from the TV, showing a clear generational and technological gap between the generations. Aside from questionable content from online, this reliance of the internet and the TV for news shows that even what subjects that are covered will rarely be in depth. Such reporting cannot give much in the way of nuance with 60-second sound bites. However, even with such a steep decline in the trust of what is reported in media, human brains are wired to accept things as true. Cognitive simplicity, they call it, and questioning something or looking at it with skepticism requires much more effort and does not come naturally. This is why we have undertaken one of the most in-depth projects ever done. Multiple short videos on a wide cross-section of biases in today's major media outlets to help you get your game face on next time you watch the news.